Makima was the biggest manipulator in Chainsaw Man. As the control devil, she indirectly made Denji kill Power and Aki, the two most important people in his life. And now, she's gone from the abusive boss to an abusive sister. But before that, Makima had a contract with the Prime Minister of Japan that made it nearly impossible to kill her. Now, the only way to kill Makima, well, was for Denji to turn her into a multiple-course meal, devouring her with love, and even muttering, "So this is how you taste, Makima." Now, since Denji ate Makima himself instead of Chainsaw Man, the control devil was sent back to hell and then reincarnated as the little Nayuta. Nayuta, reincarnated with no memories of her past life, and surfaced in China, where Kishibe nicked her with the purpose of keeping her away from the government. In chapter 97, we meet Nayuta for the first time, spiral-eyed, playful, and already chomping on Denji's finger like a little gremlin. She was reborn somewhere in the world with no memories of her predecessor's life, and when we finally see the control devil again, Kishibe's already with her, watching closely as he already knows what she really is. He warns Denji that if she's raised the wrong way, she could turn out just like before. And while Kishibe entrusted her to Denji, later that night, Pochita also visits Denji in his sleep, asking him to give the control devil the love and normal life that she so desires. Because of her power, she could only ever form relationships through fear, so she's always wanted something like a real family. Pochita's final wish was for the control devil to be raised in a world of love, to break the cycle. And this time, Denji wasn't just given a new mission, he was given a new little sister. Kimo was cold, calculated, and always 5 steps ahead. Every word is a trap, as every smile is a lie. She was terrifying in the most polite way possible, but Nayuta is the opposite of subtle. In chapter 120, she turns Asa into a barking dog, then refuses to undo it until she's had her ice cream. Priorities. That moment says it all. Makima controlled with godlike authority. Meanwhile, Nayuta controls like a sassy little sister who learned what buttons to push and does it for fun. She throws up peace signs, demands daily ice cream, and throws a fit when Digi talks to girls. But deep down, her rules are weirdly sweet. Like, don't get friendly with her isn't about control. I mean, it's her clumsy way of keeping Denji safe. And that's the difference. Makima wanted to control Chainsaw Man. Nayuta doesn't even care. She just wants Denji to stay alive and maybe, just maybe, give her another scoop of vanilla. Still though, Kishibe warned us. If she's not raised right, it's game over. She's still the control devil after all. But the fact that Nayuta acts like a normal kid, that's Denji's win. Most devils in Chainsaw Man are exactly what they sound like. Walking disasters. But not all of them are doomed to be villains. In fact, the series keeps reminding us that devils are shaped by how they're treated, and Nayuta might just be the best example of that. Kishibe warned Denji that if Nayuta was raised the wrong way, she'd turn out just like Makima. That's why instead of locking her away, he asked Denji to raise her right. Not with fear, but with love. And that meant giving her a real chance to grow up like a normal kid. It's messy, it's chaotic, but hey, it's working. By chapter 120, we start seeing that pay off. Nayuta's living in an apartment with Denji, going to school, fighting for ice cream privileges, and casually turning potential threats into dogs. But even that's different from Makima, because Nayuta does it to protect Denji, not manipulate him. She's playful, impulsive, and yes, a little overprotective, but her heart's in the right place. And in chapter 123, she's sitting cross-legged on the couch, flipping people off and arguing about food. Not exactly sinister behavior. She's a brat, but she's his brat. And for the devil born to control, that's one hell of a character arc. Makima only saw Denji as a vessel, a means to control Pochita, but Nayuta doesn't even care about Chainsaw Man. From chapters 120 to 147, everything she does is about protecting Denji, not the devil inside him. In chapter 120, when Asa gets too friendly, Nayuta instantly transforms her into a dog. She lays out her terms: no flirting, daily ice cream, and no funny business. At first glance, it seems controlling, but then she says it herself. Every woman you meet tries to kill you, right? She's not being petty. She's just heard enough horror stories from Denji to know losing someone breaks him. In chapter 147, Barum uses Nayuta as emotional leverage against Denji, calling her a witch and comparing her to the likes of Makima. But what he underestimates is that Denji doesn't see Nayuta that way. She's not just a devil, she's his family, and it's that bond that keeps him grounded. And so even in chapter 155's dream sequence, we see that Denji associates his peaceful life with Nayuta. A normal home, dogs, and shared meals. She's not just a housemate, she's his reason to stay human. She doesn't call him Chainsaw Man, she doesn't idolize him, she nags, demands ice cream, and mimics his peace sign. That's not a leash, that's a little sister loving her big brother in the only way she knows how. Nayuta doesn't need to scream or summon hellfire to be terrifying. She just points her finger and suddenly, Asa's barking like a chihuahua. In chapter 120, we get a hilarious but telling display of her powers. she hits Yoru with a chain, Makima's old move, and the mighty War Devil is immediately reduced to a tail-wagging mess. It confirms what we suspected. Nayuta inherited the Control's chains, but unlike Makima, she doesn't use them to command armies or crush enemies. She uses them to protect Denji, enforce weird rules, or, keep his dating life in check. When Denji tells her to turn Asa back, she just shrugs and says, "I'm hungry." Classic little sister behavior. In chapter 147, Barham calls her the former Makima and a witch. And by chapter 155, we actually see her using her power in a fight, proving she's more than just talk. The control is there, the strength is real, but the reason she doesn't abuse it isn't just Denji's parenting, it's because she's growing up with a different set of values, a moral compass that doesn't revolve around domination. And maybe that's the scariest power of all, knowing she could be in the world, but choosing not to. For a guy who dreams about touching boobs and eating toast, Denji suddenly had something real to protect. In chapter 104, he jokes about revealing he's Chainsaw Man just to get girls. But deep down, we already see the shift. He's not just thinking about himself anymore. Nayuta is in the picture, and that changes everything. By chapter 112, that responsibility gets heavier. He's hesitant to keep seeing Asa, knowing full well that bringing anyone too close could backfire. And he's right. And just when things seem normal, Denji's already thinking about how Nayuta would react if she found out he was dating. Bro's out here planning dates like he's got a jealous ex, except it's his 10-year-old double sister with brain-zapping powers. But this is what makes their bond so unique. Denji didn't just choose power, he didn't choose revenge. He chose parent-teacher conferences and grocery runs. Instead of chasing fame or freedom, he stayed in an apartment to make sure Nayuta had a shot at a better life. That's growth, that's sacrifice. And in a world full of devils, that's the most human thing he's ever done. Nayuta changes everything we thought we knew about devils. She's not a villain, not a monster waiting to explode. She's just a kid, a devil, yep, but one that hugs her dogs, argues about snacks, and quietly watches the world from an apartment. And that alone proves something major. Devils aren't born evil, they're shaped. In chapter 98, she lives with Denji surrounded by pets and books and actual human care. And in chapter 122, she's bleeding out after an ambush, a scared little girl in need of help. But by chapter 146, she's being used as a pawn to manipulate Denji. Not because of anything she said, but because she means so much to him. That's what makes Nayuta so important. Her existence is proof that with the right environment, a little patience, some junk food, and the occasional rule about not flirting, even a control devil can grow up not wanting to rule the world. She doesn't manipulate Denji, she respects him. She doesn't want to dominate the world or create some twisted version of peace, she just wants to eat ice cream and go home, even if she still flips people off for fun. Pochita had a heart, power learned love, and Nayuta just might be the final piece of the puzzle, and the first devil raised right, from the start, even if she still flips people off for fun. It's easy to forget just how much power Nayuta actually holds, mostly because she's too busy arguing about ice cream and finger bites to show it off. But the people who remember, they haven't forgotten what came before, and they know exactly who and what she is. Kishibe warns Denji that Nayuta is a reincarnation of the Control Devil. He doesn't say it with fear, but with urgency. He's seen what happens when people like her grow up in the wrong hands. That's why he tells Denji to raise her right, because she's dangerous, even if she doesn't know it yet. Then, there's chapter 120, where she unleashes those infamous control chains on Yoru without even breaking a sweat. Instant submission. Just like Makima did to the devils and humans alike. And let's not forget chapter 146, where we're reminded that the world is barely holding it together under devil threats. And if the truth about Nayuta ever got out, she'd be a target. Or worse, a weapon. Public safety isn't watching from the sidelines. They're watching from behind glass, clipboards in hands, hoping she doesn't remember what she really is. And if she does, well, someone better hide the Prime Minister. I mean, I'd be scared too if I knew a 10-year-old with the power to make me bark like a dog could also erase my free will. Yeah, I'm keeping my distance respectfully. Nayuta might be just a kid now, but to the right or wrong people, she's a ticking time bomb, and every day she lives a normal life is a miracle of Denji's making. By chapter 154, everything's gone to hell. Protesters are everywhere, buildings are on fire, and someone literally points at Nayuta and screams, "Witch!" Like, are we in medieval Japan now? Meanwhile, Denji's just standing there, frozen, because he knows what happens if he transforms into Chainsaw Man. They'll kill her. The world's begging him to snack, but the second he does, she's dead. Back in chapter 147, we saw just how deep this goes. Barem straight up gaslights Denji by calling Nayuta Makima and telling everyone she's evil. He even claims Chainsaw Man appeared in his dreams and told him to take her out. It's disgusting, but it works. Denji's cornered, emotionally and physically. All he can do is stand there and pray she survives. And then comes chapter 170. That's when everything breaks. And one of the most messed up reveals in the series, Barem serves Denji Nayuta's head on a sushi plate. Not a metaphor. Her literal head on a plate. And suddenly, all the progress Denji made, the growing up, the holding back, shatters. Whether she's truly dead or not, the image burns. Because Nayuta wasn't just his sister, she was everything. The reason he held back, the only person who saw him as Denji, not Chainsaw Man. She gave him a life worth living. Someone to cook for, argue with, protect. Someone who loved him just for being him. And now, well, that might just be gone. He's lost friends, he's lost love, but losing Nayuta's like losing his heart. And in Chainsaw Man, that's never just symbolic.